Welcome to the Fantasy Football Drive. Out here, Shawn and BK.
Fantasy Football Drive. Shawn, we are back.
Man, it's been a great week already, man. One game tonight. I am ready for it. Hall of Fame game. I can't wait.
Oh, man. We always look forward to this, kind of the unofficial kickoff to the football season. Um, we'll be excited the whole time until we kick off, and then by about 15 minutes in, we're gonna be like, "What are we watching?" So, but I think all of us diehard fans are probably gonna enjoy it, right, Shawn?
Right? You might even catch a nap on the couch after the game.
Yeah, we're not going to see anybody. You're not going to see Trevor Lawrence. You're not going to see ETN. You're not going to see Adams. You're not going to see Carr, Renfro, Waller. You're not going to see any of these guys tonight. But no matter what, it's still NFL football. And if you're a Jake Luton fan, the quarterback on the Jaguars, you're going to see a whole lot of Jake Luton.
Well, I mean, you're going to see those players. They're just going to be on the sideline with ball caps on, though.
Yeah, looking fly.
Yep.
um, so yeah, I want to thank everybody again tuning back in for episode 7 here. Um, and as you can tell from the title, we're hitting on third and fourth round wide receivers. And we also have some news. So now this is a couple days old, but we hadn't had a chance to hit on it yet. But the Tim Patrick injury. Tim Patrick, the receiver for the Broncos, torn ACL. As my buddy Nate pointed out, that is 3 straight years now that a Broncos wide receiver has torn an ACL. Pretty devastating for him, but I think you kind of can kick some other guys up your charts now, right, Shawn?
Hey, now you guys don't make me look so bad when I'm telling you Cortland something in the second round, huh, guys?
That's
I always
right.
think I'm sleeping on that stuff.
Think Sean hasn't been down this road before. This ain't his first rodeo.
All right.
He
I know
he
what I'm
knows what
talking
he's
about,
doing.
guys.
Moving on from that, um, a little bit more with the Deshaun Watson controversy. I know that Sean's not a huge fan and he's not the guy to talk to about this, but the NFL Goodell is now appealing, looking for a year-long or an indefinite suspension. Um, I have a feeling, of course, that's going to get appealed too. I would think now that there's a chance, if this is all getting kicked down the road, that you could see Deshaun Watson playing Week 1 if this is not cleared up in time.
Yeah, you know what? And the way it works in the NFL, it just you can just appeal stuff and make it go away for a little bit. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Deshaun Watson. I think what he did was wrong, but we're just going to play the appeal game and push the suspension back. But you get 1 year, and then he'll be gone probably for the following year. So
Yeah, you're just delaying the inevitable pretty much. I don't even know if I would go down that road just because, I mean, all you're doing is going to hurt the team later on. Why not just see what happens here? Let whatever the appeal is work out and just move on.
yeah, that's what they need to do. But they won't.
Nope, way too much money.
Right.
Um, Next up, just to hit on the Jimmy G saga. Still kind of wondering what's going on with him. He's just pretty much sitting on the sideline at Niners camp. He's not running with the ones or twos, just kind of throwing the ball around. I'm kind of curious if they're going to give him his release, if they think they actually have a legit trade partner. But I would think, some of these teams would like to have him in camp while they're kind of learning the offenses if he's going to be with a new team.
Yeah, I see a lot of teams holding out to see if they're going to release them because you can get them at a way better value if they release them. Because then you don't have to give anything for them. Plus, I think they're holding on to them because I'm pretty sure they don't want Seattle to get their hands on them.
No, you're absolutely right about that. They do not want Seattle to have Jimmy G this season. They do not. That would be nasty. I'm sorry with Lockett and Metcalf and Noah Fant and all. I mean that could be dangerous. And right now they don't look scary with Drew Lock and Geno Smith.
No, I wouldn't be scared of that lineup either.
um, And we already mentioned the Raiders and Jags game, the Hall of Fame game tonight. We're super stoked for that. I'm sure any of our listeners are going to be watching that as well. Enjoy the game. Soak in those guys that are working their tail off, trying to make the team. A lot of them probably will be cut within a week or two, but they'll be trying to see if they could grab a spot on another team that could use somebody like them. So I'll be watching those guys playing hard.
Yeah, and this is where you can find that diamond in the rough too. If you keep an eye on somebody who's starting to show out, you're not the only one that's watching them. You know, that team is watching them. So,
Yep. Yeah, and all right, with news over here, I think we're going to jump straight into some questions from the fans, Sean.
oh, we got some more.
Yeah, we got a few questions. I picked out a couple of them. Um, so the first one here is from Mike G. He says he's drafting this weekend from the 6th spot. It's a full PPR 12 team. I want to go 3 wide receivers with my first 3 picks in the first 3 rounds. What would you say would be my perfect scenario? So the 6th spot, full PPR 12 team, perfect scenario to have 3 wide receivers with his first 3 picks. Well, I'll go first. I would say Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, and AJ Brown would probably be what I would consider your perfect scenario based on my rankings. And if that could happen and that would fall to you, that would be a nice little trio to sit on and have that to play with every week. So, um, Shawn, 6th spot, full PPR, 12 team, 3 wide receivers, first 3 rounds. What do you got?
Man, first of all, I like your style with the heavy wide receiver. I'm with you. Grabbing up them point monster wide receivers is a good strategy. I say I would 6th spot. I'd be looking at probably Diggs. Second, maybe Keenan Allen if he fell down there, and then 3rd round, big liking T Higgins putting on a big show at the end of the year. I think with Chase drawing some more coverage this year, I think Higgins could be a bigger one. So I mean, I'd go probably Higgins early in the 6th, about 3-6 there. So
Okay. I like that. Yeah, that would also be a nice little PPR lineup there with those 3 receivers, and then maybe get like a 4th round running back tossed in there to kind of help you balance that lineup out a little bit and start building that team up.
right, also like you said, you didn't really mention his roster. Do they could only have a one running back spot, which could be like you said, you can get a solid running back in the 4th round. Won't be your point monster running back, but you'll make up for it with those 3 wide receivers.
Yeah, he didn't mention the roster setup. I'm almost assuming that this could possibly be a 3 wide receiver league. Um, that's just a guess based on why he would want to go 3 wide receivers, but yeah, I think either way, I think that's good advice. Um, so we appreciate you sending in the question, Mike G. Next up, I have a question from Greg M. He says, if I draft Dalvin Cook or Aaron Jones, would you say it's a must to have Dylan and Madison for them, even if I have to reach to get them? So if he drafts Dalvin Cook or Aaron Jones, would you say he has to handcuff those guys with Dylan and Madison and reach for them to do that? Would that be a smart move?
My take on that is I never reach for a handcuff in the middle to late rounds. If there's a handcuff available, I would consider, but you're definitely going to get more value not reaching for a handcuff at that point. There's no need to reach for a running back too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, for the most part, I agree with you, and I think with Aaron Jones, I don't feel like you have to have AJ Dillon because AJ Dillon's kind of going rich. He's getting drafted a little earlier than you would like for a handcuff. Um, but I think in the Dalvin Cook situation, based on his injury history, I would say that it is a must to have Madison handcuffed to him, just because of the fact that Cook does miss, and when Cook has missed those games, Madison has been phenomenal. Out of the backfield, catching the ball, running, he has been a monster in those games. So Yeah, that would be the only thing that I would say differently is that yes, with Cook, you would I would say it's a must to have Madison handcuffed to him.
But do you think on a reach though? Would you reach for him?
I would reach only by reaching for Madison, you're not reaching as hard as you are for Dylan. I think you can realistically do an overreach on Madison between like the ninth and 12th round, where I think Dylan, is going like sixth, fifth, sixth round right now. So I think you'd really have to reach for Dylan where you can kind of reach for Madison in a little bit of a more valuable spot.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think Jones is going to be more pass catching and Dillon running, but we'll have to see how the offense pans out there in Green Bay.
Yep. Well, we appreciate that question, Greg. And any of you guys or girls listening out there, send us in your questions. Visit the website. Again, that's always fantasyfootballdrive.com. Send us your questions through there or on our Facebook page, Fantasy Football Drive. Just search on there. Um, well, now we're going to get straight into our main topic here.
Oh
Um,
no, hold your
that's
horses
right.
there, buddy.
That's
It's
right.
it's that time. It's
It's
that
my
pass or
turn.
draft. You know what time it is.
It's time for draft or pass. And
All right,
now
now I'm gonna run this one. I got some for you there, BK.
I think I'm ready.
Ready?
I am ready.
All right, pass or draft. Justin Herbert in the second round.
In the second round,
Second round.
I'm gonna say pass on Herbert in the second round. Again, I just value my receivers, and I would feel more comfortable with Herbert in the third.
Yeah, I agree with you there. All right. And this one, I've seen some people reaching, but Tyreek Hill in the first round.
Absolutely not. That I've done that myself in the past, and that did not exactly work out. I think
Yeah,
he's close to the end of the first, but nah, more like early to mid second.
yeah, that's where I had him. But like I said, I've done a couple mocks recently, and I've seen Hill going late first round, and I was just kind of shocked by it. So I figured I'd give it an ask.
Yeah, yeah. That is actually a tough one because it's right on the cusp of first and second. So right now, I would say no.
All right, Dalton Schultz in the fifth round.
Yes, all
Yeah,
day.
right. Especially with them having all that receiver trouble there in Dallas. Stand up tight end. I think I'd be diving on him pretty much in that area too. So
Yeah, yep. And with Washington getting injured now, that I think that boosts up Schultz even a little bit more.
all right, all right. Michael Pittman in round two.
Ooh, that's tricky. Um, it his upside is there to take him at I would say late second. So I would say maybe. So I guess I'm not allowed to say maybe. So I'm gonna say draft in the second round.
I
So
guess
yeah,
it's where you have your pick. I like him in the third. I think there's some other talent that I'd grab before him, but he'd be a third for me. I would think there. So
yeah, that's a close one.
all right, ready? Tom Brady in round three.
Oh,
All
this
you
is
guys be
another.
sleeping on Brady this year. So
Yeah, and they're going to be throwing the ball a lot, but I'm going to pass, and I would pass that to like the fourth or fifth round. Only again for me, that's just my personal basis of value in that round. So that's a
all
little
right,
rich for me.
ready? All right, Zeke Elliott in round two.
Oh come on, absolutely not. This is
All
a
right,
pass. This is a pass.
don't lie.
Um,
You've seen him going in mocks though in round two.
I have seen him. Yeah, you're right. I have seen him going in mocks, but man, I mean, this is a guy where I personally think that Pollard should have more value than Zeke going into this season. So yeah, no, that's a pass for me in the second for Zeke. But
Yeah.
sorry, Cowboy fans.
Yeah, both me and you believe the same thing there, but they paid the man. I expect him to see the ball. So,
You're
all
right.
right, my last one for you. Bills defense in round six.
No, yeah, it's comical. There's no way I would reach for a defense anytime before at least like the 14th round. So that I see it happen. We all see it happen, especially in homer drafts. Or hey, I gotta get our defense in the fifth or sixth round. Nah, you can have that. I'll take some. I'll take some value. So
Uh,
yeah, I would just I would prefer to look elsewhere and fill my positional needs instead of looking at the defense. So yeah, that's a pass for me, Sean.
all right, man. Well, that's our passer draft this week here. Um,
Love
we'll be
that.
back next week with some more passer drafts, guys. So make sure you tune in for those.
I love doing those, and so we'll have some more. Maybe we can each do a few next time.
Oh yeah.
So we move on to some third round receivers. Our main topic for the day here. Um, we're going to kind of break this down to early, mid, and late third rounders and fourth rounders. So early third round, Sean, who you got?
Oh well, you said break it down. I was getting ready to get out, the turntable over here, and I was gonna
Well, you
break
can
it down
really
for
break
you.
it down then. Just wick, 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 wick.
All right, well, let me get this party started here. Early third round. We got three of them on my thing, and one I just touched base on there on the one of our questions there. I have T. Higgins, early third round. I think with Jamar Chase there, T. Higgins is going to get a lot more looks now because I think Chase is going to get that coverage. I mean, after a Super Bowl performance this year, four receptions for 100 yards and two touchdowns. I mean, that's a pretty impressive coming off, especially with the Rams defense. So he's somebody to watch early second round. My second one there would be Jalen Waddle in Miami. There, I think Hill is a blessing for Waddle. It's definitely somebody for him to learn from, and also somebody to pull coverage and leave Waddle wide open. So, and I mean, he's just fast,
That he is. That he is. Super fast.
right? And then my last one for the early ones, St. Brown. I think a
From
lot of
the
people.
Lions.
Yeah, Monte Brown. I think a lot of people are sleeping on him this year. I think if you look at his stats for his last four games, he really turned it up at the end of the season, averaging 100 yards in the last four games and a touchdown in each one of those games, finishing out the season. So if he can come out strong like that, he is definitely an early third rounder.
Yeah, he really did turn it on at the end of the season last year. That was pretty impressive. Helped a lot of owners out there. So is that the last of your early third rounders?
Yeah, that is the last of my early. Yep.
Yes. So for my early ones, I have Michael Pittman, who we just discussed in draft or pass. He was the 17th receiver at the end of 2021. There, um, he had 88 receptions, over 1,000 yards, and six touchdowns last year. Consensus is saying somewhere like in the 12 area, which I pretty much have him at 11 according to my list. Um, so not too much difference. Then I have DJ Moore, who you had at the end of the second round. I have him here in the early third. You know, he was 18th overall in 2021 for receivers, 93 catches, over 1,100 yards, but kind of weak on the four touchdowns. Um, Consensus has him at 14. I have him at 12. And you had T. Higgins and Waddle in the early third. I have T. Higgins and Waddle in the late third. Um, yeah, those guys both coming off great seasons. Waddle finishes the 13th overall receiver in 2021. He had 104 receptions, over 1,000 yards, six touchdowns receiving, and a rushing touchdown. So, obviously they use him in multiple facets there in Miami. So, um, you have him early third. I have him late. Anything else to add to that, Sean, based on me having Pittman in early third and more in the third compared to your
No, I'm
second?
I'm right with you there. I got Pittman in my mid rounds. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with him. Matt Ryan coming in there, like throw the ball around, so I see his value. So well, let me jump on my mids real quick. I think we're pretty close on our mids too here. Um, I got AJ Brown. I, you know, I would have seen him as a top, first or second rounder last year. This year, I got to push him back a little bit. New team, new home, new quarterback, a whole bunch of new situations. Not really sure like Hurts has had a caliber of receiver as like AJ Brown, and he's also been dealing with injuries too. So it'd be something we need to watch. So I have Brown right in the mid, Cooks. So I'm right there with Brandon Cooks, mid round. Somebody's got to get the ball in Houston. So I figure he'll be, you know, wide receiver number one and probably seeing most of the attempts. He did have a couple big games last year. We'll see how this year pans out. And then I had right after him, I'm running with Scary Terry. I
Love
just
him.
I just feel like Washington's gonna be behind the ball a lot, and he's gonna get those garbage points. So, but
Yeah,
that would be my ones. There would be Brown, Cooks, and McLaren. Who do you got there, buddy?
I do love Scary Terry. I have him as a mid third round receiver myself. He was 25th receiver last year. 77 catches, 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, and that was really on a down year with Heineke at quarterback and just a whole disaster of guys throwing to him. So I think as much as or as little of an upgrade as Wentz is, it's probably a dramatic upgrade in comparison to Heineke. Um, so I have McLaurin there in the mid as well, and same as AJ Brown. I have AJ Brown right there, mid third as well. A little bit of a down year as far as stats because he only played in 13 games. He had 63 receptions, 869 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Um, but when he played, he was again that top notch guy that you want.
Yeah, how you feeling on him? I know you're an Eagles fan here. How do you like having him in Philly there, buddy?
Oh, I'm excited. I mean, I would say he's probably the best receiver we've had in Philly since To. And he has the capability to be equally as good, I believe, as To was. Same kind of physicality, and you get the ball in his hands, and nobody want to tackle him downfield. He's kind of like a Derrick Henry, you know. So I think that benefits us a lot. You just get the ball in his hands and let him do some work.
Oh, I do agree. I'm not looking forward to playing you guys, but I think the Cowboys defense will put a hurting on you guys. So
We'll see, we'll see. Um, and then you had what Brandon Cooks in your middle third. I have him as a late third round receiver. He was very efficient last year. 20th receiver overall for 2021. 90 catches, over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. You can't really go wrong with Cooks. It's going to be a high volume offense with a lot of passes going to somebody. I expect those to go to Cooks. So um, yeah, so you have them mid, I have them late, but we're really not far apart there. So, who do you have for your late round receiver, Sean?
late, I'm only got two in my late. I got Deontay Johnson. Uh, Scares me a little bit. He's got the potential. He's obviously doing not a hold out, but he's doing a hold in. They're having some contract issues there. Hopefully, they get them squared away and get him paid. I can see him turning it up at that point. Um, I know they got a little bit of quarterback situation there in Pittsburgh, but I still think he's going to see the targets. He's Claypool on the other side, Fairmouth at tight end. I think he'll be doing real well if as long as he can get paid.
Yep.
So, and right after him, I got DJ Metcalf in Seattle. I just regardless, somebody's got to get the ball. Somebody's got to get the targets. That's your man.
Big
Lockett will
guy.
get some of them, but I think Metcalf will get more.
Yes, love that guy.
And that's all I got for my lates. Where are you saying that on your late ones?
I pretty much hit on mine. I had Higgins, Waddle, and Cooks. So
Oh yeah,
I'd pretty much hit on those. Um, I guess it's like I'll just go ahead and move right into my early fourth round receivers and keep moving along here.
there, jump
Uh,
on it, man.
and I'm doing that because it goes coincidentally with what you just said. I have Metcalf, Deontay Johnson, um, in my early fourth, which you had in your late third, correct?
Yes.
So yeah, I have them early fourth. Metcalf last year, solid year, 75 catches, almost 1,000 yards, just under. He had 12 touchdowns, which is always lovely as a fantasy owner to get those touchdowns. Um, Johnson, Deontay Johnson had over 1,000, or excuse me, over 100 receptions, over 1,100 yards, and 8 touchdowns. But and he was the number 8 receiver last year. But I think they threw the ball like 700 plus times, and I don't think they're going to do that this year. I think that a lot of that was because of Ben and his mobility and the way the offense was structured. So I think those numbers come down, which is why I have him as an early fourth round receiver. Um, and then my last early fourth, I have Cortland Sutton, which obviously you had at the end of your second, and excuse me, at the end of your second round picks. Um, you know, a little bit of an off year last year, 58 receptions, a little over 700 yards, and only 2 touchdowns. I don't think those numbers tell you anything about this year. Obviously, the Tim Patrick injury affects that. Expect Sutton to bounce back. He's got great value here, even in my opinion, in the early fourth, if he were to happen to fall to you there. Um, Shawn, your early fourth round guys?
Oh well, my early fourth. I don't think we're going to touch base on too many people here. Um, I got early fourth. I got Drake London in Atlanta.
Okay.
So they don't really have anybody to throw the ball to there. If you think about it, look at that. I mean, with Ridley gone for the season, uh, you got Cordell Patterson and takes him a little bit, a couple halfback passes, but then you got Kyle Pitts as tight end. I mean, really, that leaves London all the room in the world.
Yeah.
And so, especially, and like I said, in our type of league where we run the keepers, he's somebody to look at. Fourth round would be a great value for a standout wide receiver if he gets his game together. So I have him early. I got Adam Thielen right behind him. You
I
know,
like that.
Jefferson on one side, Thielen on the other. Thielen's gonna see the targets too. I mean, Jefferson will get a majority of them, but you can't ever count out Thielen.
No, you
He's
can't. He knows how to get open, and he's got that good rapport with Kirk Cousins as well.
yeah. I mean, it's just a dangerous 1-2 punch there. My next one's Traylon Burks out of Tennessee with the departure of AJ Brown. Um, I see Traylon Burks stepping up and taking that role. So I got him early fourth, and then my last one early fourth will be Amari Cooper in Houston. So it'd be big news if Deshaun Watson doesn't get that suspension. I can see Amari Cooper blowing up pretty quickly. So without that, I mean, they don't really have that many receivers there in Cleveland. I mean, he's going from the Dallas. He's a wide receiver one. He's he's their man. So that's
Yeah,
all I got for my earlies.
yeah, I like that. You got two rookies there, Drake London and um, shoot,
Traylon Burks.
yeah, Burke. Sorry, yeah, and then you had Thielen kind of sandwiched in there. So you got two vets and two rooks as early fourth. I like those. Um, we're obviously quite a bit different as I'm kind of I have a lot of these guys further back than you. Obviously you are a high on receiver, so your rankings reflect that. So I mean, like my mid fourth round receivers here. Actually, yeah. Why don't you start off the mid fourth round receivers, Shawn? Who do you got there?
Mid fourth. I only got two. I got Hunter Renfro
Okay.
coming off a solid year this year with his new counterpart Devontae Adams. You got Waller. Uh, I mean, he really showed out last year. I knew they didn't really have too anybody else to throw the ball to, but he really stepped up and took the challenge on and did very well. I see him having another year, if not better than last year, especially with Devontae Adams there. That passing game's to be insane in Las Vegas. Um, and
Target
then
monster.
right after him, I have Garrett Wilson. So with Brees Hall, gonna be drawing a lot, drawing a lot of attention at running back. I see Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson making the Wilson to Wilson combo and moving that ball.
That's your two mid fourth round. I love the Renfro. I will say that the Garrett Wilson, and well, because it's a rookie, I know you, but I am surprised that you have Garrett Wilson ahead of Elijah Moore. Do you think
I have a gut feeling with Garrett Wilson
okay? Well,
that he's going to stand out over Elijah Moore.
yeah. Well, I would trust you on that then because you seem to know what you're doing when it comes to that stuff. So Garrett Wilson, it is. Um, so my mid fourth round receivers, I have Mike Williams from the Chargers. He was the number 12 receiver last year overall. 76 catches, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Um, he was a baller last year. Him and Allen both were producing. Obviously Herbert threw for over 5,000 yards, so there were plenty of yards and touchdowns to go around. After that, I have Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney, who was 23rd overall last year, 81 receptions, 1,055 yards, 4 touchdowns receiving, and a rushing touchdown. I think he's a good value here in the mid fourth. He's going to get a lot of targets. There's plenty to go around with a Robinson gone now. Justin Fields has an incredible relationship with Mooney, which will help. So that's why I have him here as my mid fourth round pick.
Yeah, I'm a big fan with Mooney there. Like you said, in Chicago, there's not really anybody else to throw the ball to. He was a standout player last year. I see him getting, like you said. I hate to say it, like getting all these targets, but I mean that's what these guys are here for. When you're a wide receiver one, you're getting that first look. So
Yep, and he should. I would suspect him to have. If I was projecting, I would say he'll have over 100 receptions this year and probably over 1,200 yards, and then probably looking at 6+ touchdowns. So I think he'll have a little bit of a bump up, which like I said, he was 23rd last year. He probably moves up closer to that top 15 range. I have him at 22 on my rankings, so he easily could bump up based on production. Which that'll take us to the late fourth round receivers.
I don't have any.
So this is all me here.
All you, buddy.
So not a long list here. Marquise Brown, he was 22nd overall receiver last year, 91 catches, over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. He's now away from Lamar. He's with Kyler. Similar style, but I think Kyler has better accuracy and can probably get him the ball a little more. They are also like best friends, similar to Hurts and AJ Brown. Those kind of things are beneficial. Um, so yeah, I would think that so Marquise Brown, I have him at 23, and he came in last year at 22. So pretty much par for the course. Expect about the same from him. And rounding out the end of my late fourth round receivers, Amari Cooper, who Shawn already hit on. He was the 27th wide receiver in 2021. Just under 900 yards, 8 touchdowns. Going into Cleveland, like Shawn said, plenty of targets there. They're going to be thrown to somebody. Cooper's getting paid that money. They're going to utilize him. So yeah, if you could get him in a late fourth round situation, I would say to jump on that.
I do agree.
Um, so if I know some of you are probably looking forward to drafting. I know Shawn and I are looking forward to drafting. If you guys have a draft coming up, let's say this weekend, if you have something you want to ask us, send us a question. You can even email me at Bryan at fantasyfootballdrive.com. I'll put that up here, and it's also on the website. So, Shawn, I think we're coming to the end of the road here.
It's that time already, huh?
It is that time. I do want to you want to start, I want to mention that you can go to Facebook, facebook.com/fantasy drive. Check us out on there. Give us a like, a follow. Keep you up to date on the show schedule and any episodes coming out on there. Also, check out Twitter. You can check us out there at drive_fantasy, on Twitter at drive_fantasy. Be sure to check out the weekend show. We'll be having coming out probably early Saturday morning or Sunday afternoon, or excuse me, Saturday afternoon. We'll be touching on mid and late round receivers that you will want to know, and probably just kind of talking about the Hall of Fame game a little bit. So, thank you again for tuning in, Shawn.
Yeah, but I'll just like to do the same thing. I'd like to thank everybody, like I said, for listening to us and following us and supporting us on our little fantasy football podcast here, where we just try to share some different outlooks, different views, and different opinions to increase your fantasy game. So. Thank you for that. And I would like you guys to make sure you go check out our website at fantasyfootballdrive.com. You can leave comments. You can subscribe and like our page. Get the little app on your phone where it's just a one click away and you can be watching the podcast. So check it out. Make sure you give us that follow, and we'll keep producing these shows for you guys.
Absolutely. So, thank you again for Brian and Shawn. Until the next time, that's the end of this drive.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
See ya.